Sponsored by Eufy. You know what sucks about mowing your lawn? Everything. It's hot, it's loud, it's time consuming, and let's be honest, half the time you finish, step back, and notice you missed a bunch of spots. Now, imagine this. No wires, no GPS calibration, no perimeter setup, no babysitting. Just open a box, hit start, and your lawn takes care of itself. This is the Eufy Robot Lawn Mower E18, and it's doing things I didn't think were possible in a consumer-grade robot mower. There are no RTK antennas. There aren't any buried boundary wires, just smart visual-based autonomy in a robot that maps, navigates, and cuts like it actually knows what it's doing. And here's the thing, I've tested plenty of robot vacuums, and this is the first time I've seen that same level of plug and play, set it and forget it simplicity applied to your backyard. So let's get into it, starting with the unboxing. If you want to check it out for yourself, be sure to hit the link down in the description below. Inside the box, you get everything you need to go from zero to mowing in under 5 minutes. Legitimately, under 5 minutes. Here's what's included. Obviously, the Eufy Robot Lawn Mower E18 itself, which is surprisingly sleek with a design that feels way more polished than I expected. There's also a base station. This is where it lives and charges. And this garage cover is essentially a little roof to protect the mower from the elements while it's parked and charging. There's a power adapter and cable that's long enough to give you flexibility on placement of the base. A blade kit with 9 blades and 9 screws for easy replacements. There's also this tube of grease, and maintenance is very minimal, but obviously good to have. And there's a lens cloth. Because this mower relies on vision-based navigation, clean cameras mean better performance. Then you've got mounting hardware, including screws and an Allen key for securing the base station and garage. It's your complete setup kit. No random upsells, no mystery parts. You unbox it, scan the QR code to set it up in the app, and you're off to the races with the impressive auto mapping feature. And this is where the E18 starts to set itself apart. Most robot mowers I've used, at least, need you to lay down wires, or potentially worse, go through a whole GPS RTK setup that's super time consuming, very finicky, and highly dependent on having the right terrain and weather at the right time. I've used those GPS based mowers before, and they're fine until the clouds roll in. So with this, you might expect some janky trial and error learning phase, but the 18 nails the map on pretty much the first go. If it needs to charge up while mapping, it'll go do that and then continue mapping once it's topped up. And it'll keep doing that until it's done or until you reach the maximum 0.3 acres that it supports. Now, the E18 uses what Eufy calls VFSD, Vision Full Self-Driving. And the way I think of it is like a self-driving car, but out on your lawn. Once you kick off setup in the app, the mower drives itself around the perimeter of your yard using its onboard cameras to scan and map the environment. And since it's using vision instead of GPS or towers, it just knows where it is. The whole process for me took about 4 hours from starting to map to finishing. You get a visual map in the app that you can take a look at. And from there, you can tweak things like setting virtual walls or creating no-go zones, or even splitting the area into multiple mowing areas. And again, that's all using the phone app. And once it's mapped, it remembers. You don't need to do this again. You basically just press start at this point and it goes. It's the kind of user experience that makes other robot mowers, despite being so new, feel ancient by comparison. Okay, it knows your lawn, but what about everything else that's in the way? Here's where things go from smart to borderline sci-fi. The 18 isn't just navigating your yard blindly. To reiterate, it's seeing it. It uses dual binocular cameras and 3D vision algorithms to actively distinguish between grass, flower beds, furniture, pets, and kids. And let me say that again. It can tell the difference between a lawn chair and your dog. And it doesn't just stop and beep like some dumb mower when it gets close to something. It intelligently detours around it in real time, adjusting its route without breaking the pattern or without needing your help. I have a bunch of natural obstacles in my lawn. Tree stumps, flower beds, even steps. Not once did it hit anything or fall over. Instead, you can watch it meticulously slow down, process, and work around obstacles without hesitation. And it can also handle slopes up to 18 degrees. And that's kind of the spatial awareness you'd expect from a drone flying in the sky as opposed to a grass-cutting robot. And like I said, that's a huge deal if you have kids or pets running around, because unlike other mowers that just kind of roll forward like tanks, this one actually understands what's in front of it and makes smart decisions. And yes, I tested that too. Don't worry, no dogs were harmed or even inconvenienced during the filming of this video. All right, so it's smart and safe, but does it actually mow well? A lot of robot mowers can cut grass. But the E18 actually makes it look good. It uses high density parallel mowing, which basically means it cuts in precise, evenly spaced lines instead of randomly zigzagging like older models. The result is a clean, consistent pattern that actually looks like you may have hired someone who knew what they were doing. It's also smart enough to detect areas it might have missed. So if it sees a patch that wasn't trimmed properly, it automatically doubles back and handles it. No missed spots, no weird tufts left behind, and no, oops, I guess I'll get to that next week. And for edge work, it's got something called ride on edge technology. It can tell whether it can physically drive up to and cut near edges or walls, and it'll adjust its path accordingly so your corners are crisp and your borders are clean, and you don't have to follow up with a trimmer afterwards. Some may call this lawn maintenance, but when you take a look at it, it really feels like lawn presentation when it's done. Next, let's talk about the base station. The E18's base station is its home base, literally. Once the mower finishes its route, or if the battery starts running low, it'll automatically return to the base to recharge. And it does this very efficiently. It's not wandering around the yard trying to find its way, which means it's not going to die on the way to the home base. And it's also smart enough to pause mowing when it detects rain or low light conditions, then resume once things clear up. And that means no soggy grass clumps and no mowing haphazardly in the dark. The E18 is rated for lawns up to 1,200 square meters and handles slopes up to 40%. So if you've got some terrain variety, it's got you covered. And one thing I really appreciated is the garage style cover on the base. It's included in the box, as you saw, looks clean in the yard, and helps protect the mower from the elements without making it look like a weird sci-fi lawn ornament. Also, if you're worried about theft, it has GPS tracking built in. So if someone tries to snatch it, you get notified through the app and you can track exactly where it is in real time. It's low maintenance, self-aware, and built for real world use. Basically, it just handles itself. So here's the thing. I went into this expecting a robot lawnmower that would be good enough, something novel, maybe a little gimmicky, but the Eufy E18 is not a toy. It's a genuinely useful, impressively autonomous piece of lawn tech. You set it up once and it just goes to work and keeps working week after week. So while the video is sponsored by Eufy, if the question is would I recommend this, I'd say yes. If you've got a yard and a schedule that doesn't include babysitting a robot with blades, the E18 makes a lot of sense. Some may not find it to be cheap, but considering how much time it gives you back and how good your lawn looks when it's done, I think it absolutely has earned its spot. In a world where everything demands more of your time, this little machine quietly gives it back to you. By the way, Eufy does also make the E15 in addition to the E18. That one can mow up to 0.2 acres instead of the E18's 0.3 acres. So the only difference is price and mowing area. If you want to check it out for yourself, be sure to hit the link down in the description below. And if you buy the code on Eufy's website before April 7th, instead of $200 off, you'll be getting $300 off. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andru Edwards, and I will catch you in the next video.